one of my born businesses is a non-emergency medical transportation company, and most people don't even know what a non-emergency medical transportation company is. So it's boring, so, it's boring to them, but it's fun for me because I see what happens with the revenue from this sort of business. There's a lot of opportunity in this industry.
Welcome back to another episode of Attractive Mindset. And today's guest, absolute hustler from Detroit, came out here absolutely dominating the game. He got boring businesses, exciting businesses, all types of things. When he comes to sports, you can't not hear his name in the industry, but I'm going to let him tell you a little bit more about himself. We got Mr. Tommy G.
Appreciate you, brother. First of all, thank you for having me. It's a great day in Miami as always. And, as he said, I'm an entrepreneur. I've dibbled and dabbled in a few businesses over my span of time out here. But I think I've got a pretty cool company in Remix Sports Media that you spoke about. We brought a new sports media company out, and we've brought a few shows out, and it's getting some legs, So, but I'm a big believer in entrepreneurs. Like you said, boring businesses, fun businesses. I'm all about trying to figure out how to get it.
Got you. And so how long have you been in Miami?
I moved down here 13 years ago. Yeah. Graduated college. I'm originally from Louisville, Kentucky. Shout out to 502. Can't forget them. But I went to high school and college in Michigan, right outside of Detroit. And once I graduated from college, shot down here on the Next Thing Smoking, and we've been down here ever since, rocking out.
Okay. So where do you feel like you first started really developing that I got to get into entrepreneurship vibe? Over here or, before college and stuff?
Nah, that goes back to as a kid. I've always had a business knack. My uncle was an influence in my life, whether he knows it or not. He was the first Black certified public accountant in Kentucky.
Oh, damn.
So he's owned an office in Louisville, Kentucky for 30 years, so that sparked me with business early, trying to figure out how to do my own thing. And out of college, I created my first business, which was a headwear company called Cool Heads. And when I brought that down here to Miami, that kind of was my introduction to the city, I guess you would say. And from there, I've just created other things that have helped me keep going.
Got you. So why Miami? Got Kentucky, you got Detroit. What stopped you from going back home and moving out here?
Great question. So me and the wife, we visited. That's all it takes. You know what I mean? Went to South Beach for a week, looked around like, like this place is kind of nice. And from there, I'm a big believer in manifesting and figuring things, and the world kind of figure things out. So we, on the beach, drunkenly said, we got to figure out how to move here. And then within a year and a half, 2 years, we figured out how to move there. We, blessingly enough, her job was headquartered in Boca Raton, and then moved us down to Palm Beach, and the rest was history.
Copy. Okay. So when I met you the other day, I like the slogan that you had. You're like, I got some exciting businesses, I got some boring businesses. Shout out to Content Creators Expo.
Absolutely.
They have a show on Wednesday. This is not going to be out by then, but definitely, when I met you, that's interesting. So the exciting and the boring, explain that a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like the internet right now has everybody trying to be a boss and a CEO, and you gotta have all this stuff and have this exciting business that everybody is flocking to. Those are fun, those are great, but it's also good to have a stable business, something in the back that's working that you don't really have to talk about a lot. One of my born businesses is a non-emergency medical transportation company. And most people don't even know what a non-emergency medical transportation company is. So it's boring, it's boring to them, but it's fun for me because I see what happens with the revenue from this sort of business. There's a lot of opportunity in this industry. And it's a older industry. So any new marketers or new innovative thinkers can jump in this industry and just take off in your city. Once you get the right licenses and get everything together, it's a great industry to be in, and my business is based in Palm Beach County, Florida. So there's a lot of senior senior older people that live there, and my transportation company is perfect for them.
Got you. And so when I've never really thought about it in that aspect of, just because you're right, it's a regular boring business. What made you even think about getting into something like that?
Yeah, crazy story. So when I moved to Florida, I had bought a townhouse, and I was in Boynton, doesn't matter, but I had bought a townhouse, but the one next to me was rented out, and it would always have new tenants. And so one tenant came in, and they had a Mercedes Sprinter van parked outside of the house. And every day I come home from work, I see this Mercedes Sprinter van, and it was a young African-American lady that lived there. So one day I asked her, I'm like, what do you do with the van? And I'm thinking she's going to tell me that she moves rappers around, or she's got a concierge service or something. She's like, no, I have a non-emergency medical transportation company. And I was like, oh, that's dope. Like, what the hell is a non-emergency medical transportation company? And she started to give me some information on it, and I'm listening. My business mind's just like going crazy. Like, wow, you buy this van and you go pick up people and take them to appointments all over the city. Like, and you get contracts with different organizations that'll give you consistent work. And she's like, yeah, I just don't have a driver. I'm like, that's your only problem? You know what I mean? So I actually tried to buy that business from her, like, cause it seemed ready-made for her, because she was trying to get out of it. So she's like, oh, I don't want to be involved. I can't find a driver. And it's just a headache, because she's also has some other things going on. So I tried to buy it from her, but she actually sold it to somebody else before I could get over to it. So all that did was make me hungrier. And then I went and figured out the whole process, website, van, driver, licenses. Next thing you know, I got my website up, and we're moving. And once it starts moving, it's hard to stop it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because repeat business and your name gets out there. So, our company has grown pretty well. And again, it's boring. You won't see me on IG talking about it too heavy.
Yeah.
Follow me on IG, CEO Tommy G. But it's boring, but it's fun.
Okay. Nah, that's definitely dope. And so what are the more exciting businesses that you would say you have?
I would say Remix Sports Media is pretty exciting. It has us in a lot of positions. I started the sports media company for me out of necessity. I felt like the sports media landscape had no diversity. There wasn't a lot of people or things that sounded like us or looked like us. So I decided to try to create one. And that was the premise of the idea, just creating a network of people and influencers and celebrities that I want to listen to, talk to about sports that interest me, and not people that I have no connection to. You know what I'm saying? So with that said, we kind of went to the lab. I put a business plan together. Next thing you know, it works. And, we've gotten credentialed to all the teams, and now we're actually shooting our show. So the Miami Man Cave show, which is available now, streaming on all platforms, was our first show out of the gate, hosted by our host, Jeff Fox.
That's fire. And so, I definitely want to touch on that a little more, because you're absolutely correct. In a lot of industry fields, there's, we on this show, we definitely keep it, clear as day. There's a lot of white people behind the scenes that run the show.
You said it. I didn't say it.
Hey,
but I hear
you're
what
right.
you're saying.
I definitely said it. And I say it again. There's a lot of white people that run the scenes, and, and there's nothing wrong with that, but we also have to give a chance for our communities to grow. And we have to be that change that we want to see in these industries in our community.
Absolutely. And that was one of the biggest things, is like, not all of us can hit a jump shot. Not all of us can, be a offensive tackle. You know what I mean? So those kids that don't want to be that, why aren't there other things in sports they have dreams to be? And that's what I kind of want to also open up is, you can't play sports, own a sports media company, be a sports announcer, be the sports guy in the back. There's so many different things, but I feel like as children, we're kind of like, oh, play sports. But hey, you're kind of smart. How about you play sports media? You know what I mean? Like, so I want to kind of show that there's other alternatives to actually being the athlete. And I think there's a lot of examples out there. I'm not trying to say I'm the first in any way, but there needs to be more. And I think I want to stand on that. as I go through this.
Absolutely. And so what made you initially, outside of just passion, want to really just start that? But not from just the lack of, but which side of the fence were you on, or were you both? Can you actually play the sports, or are you just the back end side of
So
the
I
house?
was both, right? So I played all through high school, and I almost played at Eastern Michigan my freshman year, and things didn't work out. But I ended up, always playing ball. I played a game last night, so I'm still a athlete today. So I've seen both sides of it. Being an athlete, being interviewed by people that have no connection to me. I'm just kind of like answering questions that are kind of lame, you know what I'm saying? But you do it because that's what's part of what you're doing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, from just a strict sports media standpoint, the lack of someone that looks like me is apparent, and I want to be clear, like we're in front of the cameras, we're there.
Yeah.
Behind the cameras, it's really hard to find us, in any significant roles. We're there to pick things up, move things around, but significant roles are tough behind the camera in these industries. When we go to these games and we have credentials, it's crazy back there. It's like there's not a lot of people that look like you. But hopefully we change that and make it all better.
Of course. And so with that being said, how hard is it for you, or was it for you, to even get to the level of getting all these credentials to, be at these games?
So I'm a big believer in relationships, and partnerships. We bring everybody that's a part of the company is there for a reason, and we all bring strengths. We all have weaknesses. Jeff Fox is a big part of the reason he was signed is he's been in the media industry down here in South Florida for over 20 years. He's very well respected, and with him on board and him joining our team, he's made us that much stronger. He not only as hosting the show, the Miami Man Cave show, just with his connections within Miami, has really helped us get further along that process faster. You know what I'm saying? So he's been a big asset to the company.
Got you. And how'd you meet Jeff?
So met Jeff through a mutual friend, mutual business acquaintance. Chris, shout out Chris. He's gonna watch this and he's gonna like that shout out. He introduced us. He thought we had some similar interests. At the time, I was looking to launch my network, trying to figure out how to launch Remix Sports Media. And at the time, Jeff Fox was trying to figure out how to launch a show. So it was kind of a perfect meeting at the same time, so we put those two lines of thought together. And next thing you know, we had the Miami Man Cave show and we were filming with big celebrities in Miami. So It was a mutual meeting of the minds.
Okay. And so do you feel like what you're trying to do, you need more people for your team, or how do you want to structure that build out to be able to change the game you want to?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, most sports media companies have sports announcers, we have what we call sports remixers. So our sports remixers stand on their own. They host shows, they go to events, they represent us. They are our anchors, but we consider them sports remixers. Jeff Fox is the first of our sports remixers, but we have visions of many more. Like I want to have multiple sports remixers, multiple shows, all under the umbrella of Remix Sports Media. My goal is to create a sports media network that has a lot of things to offer for everyone. And the Miami Man Cave show is just the start of it, but we definitely want to have more sports remixers, more shows, more content, and really build this thing out within the sports world.
Got it. And so that's everything, not just, basketball.
No, we want to touch it all. Pause. We want to make sure that we are a legitimate sports network,
Okay.
So basketball, of course, is our sweet spot. That's where we, have most of our experience at. But as we grow, we'll bring on people with other sets of experience that can help us expand our network, our reach, So our goal is to kind of touch every part of sports, from sports betting to basketball, football, all those different things that have a connection.
Okay. I used to be heavy into sports and I definitely kind of fell off. The basketball era I fell off in was around, I'm a Spurs fan. You know, I'm from New
Spurs
York.
fan.
Yeah, random. I'm from New
That's
York, but I'm a Spurs fan.
so.
And
What were you
so,
doing when the Spurs played the Knicks in the finals that year?
man, I don't even remember. But you know, just that the three with all of them and
Yeah,
Pop, like it's just that I just the synergy because I'm a team kind of oriented person.
yeah.
And I was watching all the teams, you know, I'm from New York and everybody like, oh, I never liked the Knicks ever. You know what I'm saying? Ever. You know what I'm
I don't think I've
saying?
ever heard anybody from New York never like the
Never,
Knicks.
never liked the Knicks. And so, you know, just that synergy that they had, I really liked that. And on, you know, the football side, I probably stopped watching football when Tiki Barber stopped playing. You know what
Oh
I'm saying?
wow.
Like
Okay.
it's been a minute. It's
Yeah,
been a
yeah,
while.
yeah.
You know, when Moss was still doing his thing
Okay.
in there.
Yeah.
And so I haven't really
That's
been
back
in
on the
tune too
NFL
much.
2K Dreamcast
You
days.
see, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know, so it's definitely been a while, but just to caveat on that, you know, we're not represented on the back end as much, but even less are black women. How do
Mm.
you feel about black women getting into this space more?
No, I feel like it's great. You know, they have a lot to bring to the table, and I feel like some of the major networks are doing a good job of bringing them to the forefront. They host a lot of their shows. They're a lot of their head commentators, and they bring a lot of value. We are currently looking for that great woman to jump on our team as well. You know,
Mhm.
because they bring a set of content that a man can't bring. Right?
Yeah.
They can get something out of an interview that something you or I wouldn't be able to get out of, or just being able to be in places that a little more comfortable than a group of guys. You know what I mean? So the way the things that they bring to the table and there's perspectives are perspectives that men typically don't have. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So there's a lot of value in women in sports. There's a lot of value in having women around and in your team. Um, all the women on my team make us amazing, right? Like none of the things that I've done with Remix Sports Media could have been done without the great women that I have working around the team. You know what I mean? Shout out to Gigi. You're out there. Shout out to you. You did a great job. And she's also one of the sports remixes we're trying to get ready too. So yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. And so when you bring somebody onto the show, you know, for say someone like Jeff to interview, you know, what are you interviewing them about? What is the whole scope of the actual show?
Yeah, so the Miami Man Cave show is a luxury sports show. We
Mhm.
want to give our sports from a different perspective. So all of our sports shows, all the Miami Man Cave shows are shot in yachts or mansions or high luxury. So that's our setting, right? We want to change the setting of what that sports interview looks like. So we do that up front. But then we talk to artists about things that you may not know. So like, for
Mhm.
example, Luke and Trick Daddy on their interview, they're talking about the top running backs from down south, like Dade County,
Mm.
all time. You know what I mean? So like stuff that you're not going to hear on a VH1. You know, Trick Daddy and Luke talking about their favorite running backs from Florida. You know what I mean?
Willie
Or
Williams.
yeah, like a big names I hadn't even heard of. You know, I'm not a
Mhm.
really Miami guy, so I'm like transplant type. So
Gotcha.
it was like, you know, they were bringing up names I had never heard of, but they had a lot of history, you know, of apparently doing some real good work down here. So,
Mm.
you know, just taking entertainers and celebrities to a conversation you haven't heard from them before, in terms of sports, you know, their sports opinions on athletes or situations in sports that you wouldn't expect to hear from, you know, some of the people that we have on our shows.
Copy. Okay. Okay. No, it definitely sounds well rounded. You know, just wanting to grow the industry, the show, the behind the scenes is what it sounds like. You know, the day in their life. You know, going back because there's a lot of stories to be told through our older generation. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? And we barely tapped that, or we just scratched the surface of it. And so, nah, that's dope. And so, what would be three key pieces of advice you would give to entrepreneurs either wanting to get into the sports world or just the entrepreneurship world in general?
Just in general, you know, three things. One, I would say just do it. Like, not to be like Nike, but like you have to just like stop letting everything get in your way and just do it. Like most people get stuck at, man, I'm gonna. I have so many friends that tell me that they're gonna. You know, I don't even use that word. Like I don't have that word in my vocabulary because if I haven't done it, then I'm working on it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like so like being able to just like get everything out of the way and just start is step one. You know what I'm saying? I would say another piece of advice is don't get blinded by social media. You know, I feel like so many people are trying to do things that they're not equipped for because they seen someone else quote unquote do it. You know what I mean? Like there's so many people trying to be a boss who've never had a job. Like who's never had, if you never had a job, you never had a boss. So how you know, where do the qualifications come from?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So, you know, I feel like, you know, that's really hurting society right now, because I work with a lot of young videographers and photographers, and they're out trying to figure the world out and stuff. And sometimes I tell them, like, you know, like it's okay to get a job, you know, like I feel like everyone has made the job this such a bad thing. You know,
Exactly.
It's such a bad thing to have a job, you know, it's such a nerdy thing to have a job. But if you want to really create a successful business, you need to have had some job structure at some point in your life.
Have some capital.
Well, that too, that's your first investor. You know, that's why I tell these young, like, that's your first investor, is finding a good job, you know. So you take that money from your 9 to 5 and you put it into your 5 to 9. Whatever that 5 to 9 is, whether it's photography, you know, whatever you do from 5 to 9, that's what your 9 to 5 investment is, you know, until you can get enough for that 5 to 9 to push that 9 to 5 out of the way. You know what I mean? That's what I did. You know, I had a job since I was 17. You know what I mean? Always working. Like Tommy has a job, you know what I mean? But until I got to the point where my businesses worked enough for me that I was like, all right, don't need that too much anymore. You know what I mean? So, but yeah. And the third thing I would say, is just stay humble, right? Like if things do start working, the more humble you stay, the better things go. Like I feel like my boring businesses just run because I'm not screaming about them. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you know, I could scream about them, but you know, I feel like being able to stay humble, stay out the way, can help you grow.
Absolutely. Nah, definitely good 3 key pieces of advice. And so where, you know, do you have anything coming up for the rest of the summer in the sports world?
Yeah, man, we got a crazy summer. So, you know, Remix Sports Media, you're going to catch us in a lot of different places over the summer, especially down here in the Miami area. We've just solidified a sponsorship of one of the biggest 1v1 tournaments. You guys are going to hear about that coming up. A lot of VIP events we're slated to go to. So the content is going to keep getting crazier. We have a lot of Miami Man Cave Show episodes to come out. And yeah, it's going to be a crazy summer, man. We're just going to try to keep going. You know, we've caught a little buzz. People know our name a little bit. And the interview is only getting better and better. We just had Stephen A. Smith on one of our interviews. That's going to be coming out soon. And we're just going to keep going up, man.
Fire. And so where can people find you at, especially, you know, reiterate again the people that you're looking for to add to the team, and then where they can find you and get in contact with you?
Absolutely. So we're looking for influential, sports-minded celebrity / people that know how to get it done type of people, right? So we want people that already have a good following, already influencers in their own space, and who may just need to turn that dial to sports, right? Because all we're about is great content. So we can figure out ways to make great content with you. You could possibly be one of our sports remixers. We have a lineup of shows that we have in the vault that just need hosts. So, you know, if you're a good sports remixer, you think you got what it takes, you can email us at remixsportsmedia@gmail.com. Or you can go to my platform directly, CEO Tommy G on IG, and you can find all the links there.
There you heard it. So definitely tap into this market, because I already know Tommy's personality, and, you know, I haven't met Jeff yet, but it's going up, and it's already going up. And so it can only go further. And so, you know, as we say, you know, make sure you make sure you subscribe. Tommy, I appreciate you coming on the show today.
Sir, appreciate you, my brother.
You know, and as we say, we look good, we live good, life is good. Talk to us, we talk back, we out of here.
Let's go.